Right. Hi, everybody. I'm Debbie. I feel a bit strange videoing myself, but I often get asked if I would like to do painting classes or painting videos, and I've never really tried before until last week when I gave it a go with a local, it wasn't local actually, it was a charity group local to my sister. And yeah, it was really good fun and wasn't quite as scary as I thought it would be. So I decided to give it a go. So in this, the idea is just for fun. So I paint all the time, but these paintings that we're going to do are going to be little ones that you can just have a go at and hopefully just enjoy getting used to watercolours and see what the outcome is and just hopefully have some fun. So what I picked is, I'm going to do one that I did with this local group just to try it, just to see what you all think. But yeah, excuse the grubby frame because I've just had my hand in the paint. But this is one of the ones that I sell online. It's called Have a Little Fishy. And what I thought was we'd try painting one of these fish at the top and see what happens. It's quite easy to paint. It's quite an easy shape to draw. And then what it'll do is, I thought if you paint along one with me at the top, then you might be able to like mimic them down. By the time you get to the bottom, you should be getting the hang of it. And I'd be quite interested to see what they all turn out like, if that's all right. So we'll give it a go. I'm just going to grab my paints, because hopefully I'll let them down here. So painting wise, this is what I use, excuse the state. But these, I get these off Amazon, and they are quite expensive, but seeing as it's my job and I use them every day, I can justify it. But if you've got any of your kids' paints, or you can get the little, do you remember the little school sets you used to get in art class? You can get them on Amazon for about £3. They'll be absolutely fine for what we're going to do. And then what else have I got? I've got 2 jugs of water, just, where am I? In a jar, 2 of them. I've got bog standard rubber, got a mechanical pencil. I do like using the mechanical ones just because I find the details a lot easier with the fine point, but whatever pencil you've got. And then a ruler and 2 brushes. These are a bit of a state, but these are very well used and well loved brushes. But this one, what's this one? This one's a size 10 and this one's a size 1, I think. So basically a fatter one and a skinnier one. That's all you need. And then paper. I've got watercolour paper. You can probably see quite textured. And it's good because it allows you to it takes in loads of water, but it doesn't like buckle. It doesn't like make bumps on the paper. Whereas if you've got thinner paper, that's going to happen. But anything you've got just to try for now. And then lastly, before we get going, is this is one that I had a go at when I was practicing, see if it would work to do this, and the class I did last week. So this is kind of what hopefully you should be able to achieve in about 20 minutes-ish. So there we go. So what I'll do is I'll leave that there so you can see the bottom fish, and I'll keep showing this one so you know what I'm talking about. So the first thing is ruler, top of the page, just draw a really simple box. So a really long rectangle. Go. So I don't know if you can see that. I'll hold it up a bit. Just hold it down. There we go. So just a long rectangle, width of your ruler, standard ruler. Then all I want you to do is divide up the box into halves. So little marks on all 4 sides. Then this is going to be the body of your fish. All you need to do is start drawing it up. I'm going to draw mine quite dark. Draw yours a bit lighter, because then when you rub it out, you won't be left with, I'm just drawing this dark so you can see it. If you're drawing up your dots, I'll try not to twiddle this too much, but just while I'm drawing. So dead simple. It should be like an elongated pointy oval, if that makes any sense. Go. So you see that? Nothing special, nothing fancy, just that. Then we're going to add on the fins. So we're going to add on the two end ones to start with. Forget that you're drawing fins, forget that you're drawing a fish. Everything is a shape. That'll make it much easier to do it. So if you go, do it at the end. So bit of a wonky triangle, that'll do the job. And again, at the bottom. Nothing's fixed and nothing matters. There's no right and wrong. So go for it with this. So go. So you can see my fins at the bottom. You see that? There you go. Then I'm going to draw the little fins. So you can see that they're kind of different shapes and sizes. So the one, I'll do the back ones first. So the ones at the back are quite short and fat. So if I draw those, you've just got two triangles at the back. One kind of like that. Kind of like that. And then two at the front. That one's kind of like one of the back ones. So it's kind of elongated. Almost a bit sharp like, I guess. And then the little one at the bottom. But obviously you can take longer on this than me. I'm just doing it quick, just so the video is not too long for people. There we go. Right, so then it's starting to look a little bit like a fish. So next thing, simple circle, nothing fancy, just a circle. Then we're going to draw its mouth. So see on that, you can see, yeah. Then for its mouth, I'm just going to do two parallel little lines. Two little lines next to each other, and then draw them up. Hold that up. You see? There we go. Then what else do we need to draw? Then the little fin in the middle. So fin. Then the only thing we've got left to do is just guideline, mark on. This is like, I think that's his gill, and then that's the line of his mouth, just to mark it out for when you're painting, because it just makes life a lot easier. So a little kind of curved line there, and then from the corner of his mouth it kind of goes down, and then kind of drawing it up to like the middle of his eye, somewhere like that. I think these are meant to be sardines, but it's kind of a take on a sardine. Just rub that out. But you can mess with this, obviously, to make it look how you want it to. This will just give you the general idea. And obviously, when I'm painting them, I take ages on them. I'm going to do. Starting to look a bit like a shark on mine. So for that. There we go. So now, hopefully, you've got a really basic fish shape. Don't worry about the lines. Everything will be rubbed out later. Then we start to paint this a bit. In fact, no, I'll keep that just if need it. So, what we're going to do is all you're going to take is, I'll move this over so you can see. Let's have that back there. There we go. So I'm going to take dark blue. So mine's called azure blue, but if you've got just any kind of dark blue, there we go, and put a good blob of that on. And then I'm going to take like a turquoisey green, like that. And then I'm going to take a really nice bright yellow, blob that on. And then I'm going to take one last one is, what am I going to do? I'm going to take carmine red for me. So what have I used? I've used azure blue, emerald green, carmine red, and cadmium yellow. So 4 colours and a black to paint fish. All I'm going to do, first job, is get your big brush, and wet it. Not so that it's dripping, and if it's dripping, just dab it on your tissue. I'm constantly, I don't know if you can see this, I'm constantly, not yet, but I will be, dabbing on this. So use that as much as you want. So wet your brush, then what you're going to do is you're going to wet the paper, the whole of the fish. And be quite generous with it, but try and stay within the lines. Basically, anywhere you wet is going to get painted. That's where the paint's going to go. This is called, with watercolours, this is called wet on wet. So basically, paper's wet, the paint's wet, and you put them together. So go. There we have the wet fish. Right, then this is where the fun bit starts. Now you can't control this when it's wet and wet, and this is where loads of happy accidents happen. So go with it, which is not like me because I'm a complete control freak, but hey. So if you start just at the bottom of the fin there, and you see where you touch with your brush, anywhere where you touch with your paintbrush, the paint's going to go. So just kind of, how do I explain? Kind of dab it, or dob it as I'd say, dob it on. Then rinse your brush. So that was the blue. Now get the green and go over the top, and again, dab it on. Go. And then really wash your brush, otherwise your yellow will go a bit murky. So mine is, I'm afraid, because I can't change the water. Keep changing your water as well, that's the other thing. My water at the minute, look at this. My water's that colour already. Never mind, we'll go with it. So yeah, then put the yellow, put it all the way to its, tail, its bum, but to its back end. There we go. Then, when you've done that, get your page so you can see mine. So nothing fancy yet. Hold your paper in front of you and kind of bring it down, but just gently. And you see all the colours start to move. That's cool, so let it do that. Then, while that's drying, we're going to go on and do the fins. So all you need to do is exactly the same again. Same fat brush, just wet all the fins. So all, all 6 of them. So just tap it all on. And again, don't be too precious about this. It doesn't matter at this stage. You can make it look prettier afterwards. And some of your paint colour from the body of the fish is going to run up on some of them. See how mine has there. But that's okay. And then, so now you should have 6 wet fins. Then I'm going to take the red. Whatever red you've picked, or pink, or whatever you want. Just rub it on, top and bottom. And kind of let it do its thing. You can spread it about if you fancy it. And then I think I'll do 2 on here. Switch, but basically you can pick whatever colours you want to do these fins. It really doesn't matter. Okay. Then leave it to dry. I'm not going to leave it to dry, else you'll be here for ages. So hairdryer is a good one. The only thing I'd say when you're using a hairdryer on these is if you put it on powerful, you're going to move the ink and it's going to make a, how do I explain, almost like a tie-dye mess. So just go easy on the hairdryer, but I'm going to blast it just because you're waiting. So excuse me a minute. There we go. On yours, make sure that it's bone dry. It's really worth waiting until it's bone dry. Mine's damp, but that's fine. I can carry on with mine. So then, next bit, then we're going to draw paint even, these little black details. And this is called dry, wet on dry. So your paper's dry, your paint's wet. Sounds pretty obvious, but this is like, this is a bit more, you've got a lot more control with this. It's like painting with a pencil. So all I've done there is I've got black paint on my brush. It's not dripping, there's no drip. And then you're just going to start from kind of where the fin starts, and you're just going to draw almost like a T shape, capital T that is, and wiggle it down. And then you're going to keep going. Carry on. T, and wiggle it down. And just keep following. Don't worry about this fin for now. We'll sort that out afterwards. Just keep doing that. So keep doing a line across. And then a wiggle. And then as they come towards the fatter part of the body, start bringing them down, I don't know, to about halfway-ish. And then what you'll find is, after you've done a few, your paint starts to go a bit lighter where the black's running out. So then dab it in your paint again. You can always go over that bit. I'm just going to go over that one. And then carry on. And there's no rule to this, so your fish. Keep following that line that drew earlier. And then as you get towards the end, just make them tail off a bit towards the end so they're a bit smaller. So I'll show you what I mean. So just don't drag them down as far. Go. Then you can go back over. I'm just going to go back over mine a little bit, make them look a bit prettier. And you can just kind of knock the edges off, if you can see what I'm doing, just to make them a bit more, I suppose, a bit more arched at the top, like they would be in reality. There we go. And that's kind of, if you can see, that's kind of like these black lines. Fish. Then the next bit you're going to do is you're going to take the big brush again, wet it, and get it quite wet, not drippy wet, but full on wet. And this bit feels a bit weird, but what we're going to try and do is create a shadow on the top of the fish. And this feels like you're doing it wrong, but it's not. So start from where you've just done your black lines, and with a wet brush, drag all the way front to back. And what's happening is the paint that you've just used your black will start to spread, and it creates a really good scaly fishy effect. You can see that. Okay. So it's starting to look a bit more 3D, a bit less flat. And then with the paint that's still on your brush, you'll have like a black mush on your brush from just doing what you did. Keep that, don't wash it yet, and use it. See, mine's a bit, it's almost a bit of a mucky colour. Just drag it underneath and wet your brush. Smudge that out of it. Sorry, I haven't got technical terms. Smush and dab will probably be used quite a lot. But that should give you, it's starting to look a bit more 3D. I have to keep holding this up. Yeah, that's starting to look something like one then, hopefully. Then the next thing we're going to do is dead simple. We're going to do all these little black lines on the fins. So again, wet brush in the black, not too much black, but just enough. You have to just have a practice to see what feels right. And then all you're going to do is, there we go. And what will happen is, it looks a bit weird to start with, but by the time we've done them all, you kind of putting it on, drawing a line, and then I suppose lifting it up a bit so it goes thinner at the one end. And again, spend time with this. I'm rushing this to get it done quicker. But hopefully you get the gist. Okay, so that's that. And then you can just run along, you brush along the edge just to tidy it up afterwards. And then if it's not dark enough for you, or if it is, leave it alone, or if it's not, I'm just gonna give it more. That's those ones. You can see that. Then I'm going to do these little ones within. Go. Maybe that was a bit of a line of your body shape again, just to tidy it up. Go. And then top one. There we go. Although mine's looking a bit more like some kind of rainbow fish rather than a sardine, but and then the little fin at the bottom do exactly the same, but follow the shape of this. So just in on this side of it, slightly different. Just hopefully we'll be starting to look something like. Then middle fin. Now I'm hoping mine's dry enough and won't spread. If it spreads, let's not worry about it now. But so same again, but just follow the lines of the shape you did earlier, like that. And then round it off at the bottom. There we go. Then next one, eye. We'll do its eye quick. So nothing fancy, little brush still, turquoise, and we're just going to literally draw a circle and just leave it alone, and that will dry. Go. Again. Circle. Then we'll do its mouth. So wet your brush again in the red and just fill in those parallel lines. See, mine's looking a bit more cheesy now. Go. Then I'm going to very quickly dry mine again, so I don't make a mess. So now we're going to do the shadow, which goes it's kind of the grey bit on its nose, round the back of its eye, and then kind of down and around it. So I'm going to do some shadow bits around it. So all you need is your big brush again. I find it easier to do shadows with a bigger one. And some of the black just watered down I know you only need a bit. You can always add more. That's the thing. You can always add more with watercolour, but you can't. Well, you can take away a little bit, but not a lot. So I'm going to go give him a bit of a chin. There, add some shadow to his underside, and then I'm going to put a blob of grey on his nose and just drag it up. Okay. So what you're trying to do is light things. How do I get this? How to explain this? So light things make things pop forward, and darker shadows make things pop back. So hopefully, in doing this, you start to make the fish look kind of rounded that way. That makes sense. Let's do him. Then we will do little brush again. Sorry, I'm swapping a lot, but you'll get used to swapping a lot. I normally hold them all in my hand all at the same time. You get the little one, and we'll just mark on these gills. So just with a fine black line, just literally follow that down. And then we're going to do it from the mouse. And just around. Go. Then I'm just going to mess. Just a bit harsh on that is. So just by using water only, I can just soften that down. Okay. And see, it's starting to look a bit more fish-like. Okay. And then I'm going to draw its eye, so blob of black. Mine's still a bit wet, hopefully it's dry now, so mine might spread a bit, but we'll see what happens. So just do a black circle within, oh, can you see? A black circle within the green that you did before. And then I'm going to do this dark bit that goes around the back. So, too wet. And the only way I can describe this again is to dab it. Put some paint down. Okay. Then what do we need to do now? Then we need to, on mine, for some reason the fish seem to have this, it's got this black line that goes all the way front to back. So I'm going to add that on. Where did it start from? It starts from back here. So kind of where you first shape lies. Don't put it on your fin, and kind of follow it all the way. And then just let it fade out. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're starting to get, make this darker, mine's not very dark. I'm not sure it very well. Starting to get a little fish starting to appear. And this is where I start to mess. So there's no real rules to this, but what I find works is adding bits more colour to where you might think it'd be darker, you might think it's lighter. So for example, in his mouth's going to be lighter at the front and darker. If you're looking very much, it's lighter at the front and it's darker as it goes further back. So I might just darken the back edge of his mouth. Here a bit. Go. Then you can start to mess. So what I tend to do is get your big brush, and on some of these, you can probably see it better on this one actually. This one started off like this one, but then I added some deeper colours to what I'd already done. So what you could do is, you could, if you've got a purple in your palette or pink or whatever you fancy, I'm going to use purple. Get some purple on your brush, and I'm just going to darken here. Spread that a bit. Make the green a bit more intense, but this is where it's just down to personal preference then. And you can see what's starting to happen. And then this fin here doesn't look quite right yet on mine, so I might get a bit more yellow. Ooh, she says, hang on. Okay, might add some yellow to that fin. And this is the problem, knowing when to stop. I don't know when to stop. You should know when to stop. I think it's like, I don't know, some hidden talent that I just haven't got yet. But I suppose it's just when you're happy with it, isn't it, really? But there we go. So add a bit more to that. And then a fun bit, if you want to do it, is adding on these splats. So I'm just going to do one more thing before I do the splats. Just to make it better. Right, splats. Don't do it if you've got nice clothes on. And be careful where you splat in blue. Blue will stain. Blue's the worst one. But wet your brush loads. Get one of your colours, dab it in, hold your brush, move that out of the way, hold your brush over and tap it with your finger. She says dabbing in the wrong place. And you'll start to get splats. And if you do it, that's a better one. Yeah. And then if you do splats with the big brush, you get big splats. And if you do splats with the brush, you get little splats. And it's the thicker your paint makes a difference as well. But it's just practice, really. And then hopefully we've got a little fish. There we go. I'm going to leave it alone before I make a mess. The only thing I'd do if I had more time, I guess, is I would darken some of the black and I'd put a white dot. Can't find my white, it's over there somewhere. And I put a white dot on its eye. But hopefully then, when that dries, you can rub out your pencil and you'll be left with a really nice fish. Then, I suppose all I did for this one is, I'll show you on this. You can get your page and you can do one the other way and then the other way. And then hopefully by the time you got down to the bottom, you're getting the knack of it. And that's it really. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me, if anybody does it, if anybody has a go, please do send them. Don't worry, I won't name and shame, or if you're proud of it, let me know when you do want me to put it on. I'll put it on my Instagram. But I'll just be dead chuffed to see if it works, to see if anybody actually has a go and really likes it. And then if anybody fancies doing any more, let me know. Or if you see anything on my Instagram and you want me to paint it, or if you've got anything you want painting and you fancy me doing a little 20-minute something, give us a shout. But thanks very much, and I'll see you in a bit.